I'll bet on this team 100 days out of 100.
We always bring energy every single week.
We're going to have our hands full in New Orleans.
Ahead on Early Birds, the Falcons look to walk a narrow path to the playoffs and slam the Saints' postseason door while they're at it. Shocks in the film room to figure out how, plus jank on which college quarterback he'd be targeting right now. And Zach Harrison takes you behind the scenes of a memorable rookie moment. That and more ahead on Early Birds.
Grab a cup of your favorite Joe and let's talk Falcons football on Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Good morning and welcome into Early Birds. He's DJ, I'm Justin, and Shock, there is still hope.
That's unbelievable. In week 18, after everything that's happened through this season, we still got a chance to go to the playoffs. I'm all about it.
And that's really all you can ask for. Let's break down this week's game, starting with the opening drive. Falcons and Saints tomorrow afternoon. And look, it's simple. Falcons win and a Bucs loss to the Panthers. And Atlanta is the NFC South champions. That is it. There's no other scenario. No if this team ties and that team forfeits. One path only.
That's all I need. Whenever we start talking scenarios and this team, that team, who's going to win, this team got to go there, I hate all that. It's very simple. You go out and handle your business and hope that the Bucs go out and lay an egg. You got a chance to go to the playoffs. And to me, that is the best scenario. Win and get in.
No worries about the if this, then that. The Falcons, though, are only focused on one half of the playoff equation.
I'm not much of a gambling person or a betting person unless it's on myself. So I'll bet on this team 100 days out of 100, and whatever else the cards may flip to on the other teams. So be it.
I'm gonna try my best not to do it and just focus on ours. Then hopefully we get done a little faster and we get to go finish watching the locker room.
Is it hard to not do that though?
It's very hard not to do that. It is very hard not to do that. So we'll see.
Appreciate the honesty from Kate Nelson. I'd be watching the scoreboard.
Keep it real, bro.
As we continue the opening drive, Falcons hope to reverse a troubling trend on the road. Just 2-6 away from Mercedes-Benz Stadium this year, and shocked they're going to have to go to one of the NFL's toughest environments in the Superdome.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been in this building a few times, and it is not a friendly place to be. But what else would you like in this part of the season to have this game at the end of the year versus your heated rival and to ruin their season in case the Bucs lay an egg? You got a chance to do it, and they're building from their fans. That's all you could ask for and all you would love to do. And the Falcons talked about what it's like to play in the Superdome.
I mean, I'm expecting, an electric environment, New Orleans. We got great history, great fans, so it'll be a fun one for sure.
The good thing is that we always bring energy every single week, and looking forward to that, knowing that it's going to be a great environment in New Orleans.
It certainly should be, and as we wrap up the opening drive, look, this might be the final week of the season for the Falcons. That's reality. So, DJ, my question for you, how much does what happens this week go into Arthur Blank's thinking about maybe his future coach or about what this team does at quarterback?
Yeah, this could be the final straw because say you go out and you don't put forth a good effort, you don't play well, you don't look like a team that's prepared to go and win this ball game. That's a direct result on your head coach. And then say it has something to do with your quarterback not playing up to par. This will absolutely have a huge factor in which way Arthur Blank goes at the end of the season on his coach as well as a key position in the quarterback.
The reverse is a possibility as well. Could be talking playoffs next week. Yeah. Crazy as that is to say. Welcome into Early Birds alongside DJ Shockley. I'm Justin Felder. And Shock, the Saints have won 3 of their last 4 games. And kind of the ironic thing is maybe their best game against Tampa Bay last week. And that's the reason why we're talking playoffs at all. Saints lose last week. Falcons are done.
Yeah, no, I remember last week us talking about let's root for the Saints. Let's root for the Saints. And that's not exactly what we want this week. We want to go against the grain. But, hey, it's the ultimate thing of what you do in this season matters on week 18. And this is a big weekend. We hope Derek Carr doesn't have a good week like he had last week. 75% complete precision. And then also 2 touchdowns.
He got it out of his system then. That's what we hope. Shock, you always have subtle advice for the Falcons in your breakdowns. And you know what they say. Real film rooms move in silence like lasagna. Lil Wayne?
Gotta be.
New Orleans?
I knew it had to be something from New Orleans.
His own. All right, go warm up the telestrator. We will see you in a few. But first, the big man has made a big impact. In Calais Campbell's first season in Atlanta, he has more tackles than any season in his career since 2019, and his 5.5 sacks are tied for second on the Falcons. That's with the game to go. And all that pales in comparison to his leadership and his community involvement. Campbell sat down one-on-one this week with our Georgia Chambers.
Knowing what you do now, being a veteran in this league, what would you give yourself pre-2008 draft? What advice?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Oh, man. Pre-draft? I think the first thing that comes to mind is enjoy the ride. I did that, though. You know, some of the things that really helped me like kind of evolve my career as I went along was, you know, just study the greats. You know, it took me about 6-7 years before I really got to that mindset where I started really studying all the guys that came before me. And, you know, if I was a rookie and I could do it all over again, I would have start studying them early. You know, you start seeing common denominators that make people good, make them be great.
Take us back to when you got that 100th career sack. What was going on emotion-wise inside your head when that big benchmark happened?
Relief.
Finally.
Yeah, relief. You know, sometimes you want something so bad that you know, it makes it harder to get it. And that was the hardest one to get. But when I finally got it, it was a whole lot of relief. You know, I did my little dirty bird, had my fun, celebrated with my teammates, and then, you know, we just went back to work. So, but it is a really good feeling because that's something that was a big goal of mine.
So celebrating with the dirty bird, have you had to teach some of the younger guys how to properly do it?
Yes, I have.
Who struggled the most?
Who struggled the most? I mean, some of these guys, I think a lot of them are still struggling with it. I'll tell you who does it the best.
Okay,
you know,
there we go.
Jesse
Good
Bates is
teammate.
the one that got the next one. He's the one that I can see him doing it, you know, the right way.
What makes this preparation this week different going to the Saints?
I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice, and you know, all the stuff that worked last game, they're going to be preparing for, and so you gotta have to play a little chess, and you know, some of that you have to do again because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then you have to have, you know, other things, other wrinkles in there because they're going to have some adjustments too. And you know, I mean, this is the most important game of the season, and we're both in the same spot where we both need to win very bad. We just got to go out there, have fun, play loose. You know, Arthur Blank spoke to us before the Colts game. And he was like, I mean, any sport, you know, any event, anything somebody ever did great, you do better when you play loose. You just have fun. And so that was you know, just kind of just making sure guys are like, hey, let's just go out there and have fun, play our brand of football, and whatever happens, happens.
It's time to get some game intel from Shock. You're invited into the film room. So cut the lights and let's get started.
Now, I think there are a bunch of things in this ball game that can help this Falcons team have some success, but I think they've been really good in the screen game. Last week, they had a touchdown go for 75 yards to Tyler Algier on a particular screen pass. There's so many ways that you can get to it, whether it's running backs, receivers, tight ends, they can all be involved in the screen, but it takes all 11 guys to do their job. Now, in this particular play here, you're talking about guys having the opportunity to stretch the field, and it starts with your receivers. They have to push vertical. They have to get upfield now because that gets the guys that are covering them out of the way. And then you talk about big offensive linemen getting outside and using their athleticism to try to get blocks on these defenders on the outside. Let's watch as this play unfolds. Look how fast these receivers are getting out of here. This is very important because it takes all these guys out of the way. All these guys get upfield. All these guys have an opportunity to get out of here. So now you have room to create the screen area that you want to throw the football into. Tyler does such a good job of what we call a 3-count screen. 3 seconds, then get out. And now look at the athleticism of your big guys out front. Look at your big guys out front here. You got a chance for all these guys out front to get out front. Look at them. They're all looking up. These smaller defensive backs will give you a chance to get on the edge. And Tyler does such a good job of using those guys to get on the outside. And the last part about it is what Jink always talks about. Receivers blocking. That's what you want. Helping out. All 11 guys doing their job out here to create an explosive play here. And here we go. 75 yards for a touchdown. This is exactly what you want. And Justin, we can hit 2 or 3 of these in a game for explosive plays. We got a chance to have some really big time moments in this game that'll help us win.
Yeah, explosive plays would be huge against the Saints tomorrow. Thanks, Shock. We got more to come on Early Birds. We'll get you ready for the College Football National Championship and get an early scouting report on a possible Falcons quarterback target in the draft. Plus,
I always wanted to sack Tom Brady. You know, he retired right before I got in the league, and I was like, dang.
But the first sack was still sweet. The Falcons' breakout rookie takes you behind the scenes of his breakout moment. That's ahead. I'm going deep.
Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you. You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz. The best, nothing. And sponsored by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Truest, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. And the Home Depot, how doers get more done. More Early Birds coming back at you. Early Birds, listen up. It's not Saturday without some college football talk. Brought to you by Zaxby's. Indescribably good chicken fingers and wings. Here's Justin Feldman.
Welcome into Early Birds. We welcome in Michael Jenkins. And Jenk, did your Washington Huskies gear arrive at the house yet?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
I got all purple on right now. I even got the Husky face.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Hey, they got a good mascot, Dubs. You hear about Uga, great mascot. Dubs is a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of people can support even if they're Ohio State fans, or maybe Georgia fans, not feeling too good. We're asking the Ohio State man to talk about Michigan in the national championship game. That's the problem here. Wolverines will face Washington on Monday. So, Jenk, what did those hated Wolverines show you in their semifinal win over Alabama?
They showed a lot of physicality. I mean, we saw in that first half where they had 5 sacks on Jalen Milroe, who's a really athletic quarterback, and they was able to get to him and keep him contained. And then, they were able to move the ball on offense as well. So they earned it. It went to overtime, and they earned the right to play for the national championship.
We won't pass on your advice to Jim Harbaugh, but what is Michigan's key to winning against Washington?
It's really that defense and then limiting the turnovers. If their defense can slow down Michael Penix Jr.,
right,
who's playing on an unbelievable level, and they don't turn the ball over and have those kind of unfortunate mistakes, with the punt returns and stuff they've had in the first game, then they got a good shot to win.
Certainly do. Here's what the Wolverines are saying in advance of their national title showdown.
It's almost been an unfair advantage. I mean, all the things that the team has gone through. I mean, we don't care anymore. We don't care what people say. We don't care about anything that comes up. We just know we're going to overcome it because it's unanimous support from every single guy on the team.
And you heard maybe Coach Harbaugh reference that everything they've been through. It kind of seems like the whole country has forgotten about the sign stealing thing. We talked so much about it. So if Michigan does win it all, do you get a teeny tiny asterisk?
I mean, they're not going to want the asterisk, obviously.
Right.
But then you have some of the players now, J.J. McCarthy and Wilson, are kind of talking about, we had to do some sign stealing to keep up with other teams. It's like, why is that coming up now?
Right.
So, you want to say it's earned and, they didn't cheat to get where they are, but
something happened.
Yeah,
there was a punishment.
Something happened. Yeah.
Washington will try to prevent that conversation entirely. Your Huskies on the other side of the thing, and you mentioned the quarterback a minute ago. Michael Penix Jr. was so fun to watch in that win over Texas. What do you think of him?
I mean, he was unbelievable. And I remember him back in Indiana, because obviously Indiana played Ohio State. You've seen him a little bit, but you've never seen him at this level.
Right.
I mean, the way he's playing right now, the receivers that he has with him. I mean, he's putting the ball in spots where only his guys can get it, and they're coming down with it every single time. So it's great to watch.
You mentioned physicality with Michigan. Can Washington's defense handle that physicality that Michigan's offense is going to bring?
You want to hope so. Just to make it, you want to see a good game. Obviously, the first 2 games both came down to the very last play of the game. And so we hope the national championship does the same thing.
Yeah, 2 great teams. Here's what the Huskies have been saying.
It was a tough time. I was going through some tough things, throughout my career. But, I always say, man, I feel like everything I've been through, built me for this moment, built me into the man and the person and the player I am today. So, I wouldn't change it for anything. I'm super blessed to be in this position, and I'm super blessed to be able to do it with the dog.
Yeah, fun guy to watch. So, Jenk, here's a question in everybody's mind. Who's going to win?
Ooh. Well, hey, can we say we got 2 Big Ten teams in there?
You can.
Okay.
Sure. Beat 2 SEC teams, kind of?
Yeah, let's go with Washington. I like Washington. I know they're the underdogs, Michigan's favorite.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the Huskies pull it off.
The other thing I want to ask you about, Jenk, both quarterbacks in the title game will probably be playing the NFL next year. Great class of quarterbacks. So my question for you, as the Falcons maybe start thinking this way, which of the college quarterbacks, you see Jaden Daniels, which one would you have your eyes on if you were the Falcons in this draft class?
Well, we see there could be potentially 5 quarterbacks go maybe top 12, top 15. And, obviously Caleb and Drake May, those guys will be gone a little earlier than we could get as the Falcons. But you look at Penix and then you look at Daniels from LSU. I mean, those are some good options right there if that's where we're going. And, hey, Daniels, LSU, Joe Burrow, LSU, very good players there, got into the league, he's done very well, so maybe Daniels could have that same path.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of good options even beyond the top few. that go in the draft. Well, Jank, we appreciate it. Enjoy the national title game cheering on your Washington Huskies. And Shock, will send it over to you.
You know what? The great thing about it is, for the third year straight, there's going to be some kind of dog in the national championship.
That's true.
It works pretty good for me. All right, good job. Appreciate you guys. Every week we explain something you just may not know by just watching the game. This week, Zach Harrison talks about a moment he will never forget as a pro that stands out for him. He explains in this week's Going Deep.
My first sack, that was probably the most exciting play I've had this year. But I was just happy to, kind of get that monkey off your back. Like, all right, I got one in the books. Now we can just start stacking them up.
Rolling out, pressure coming. Bryce Young will not get away from Zach Harrison.
Actually, the call that I had messed up a couple times during camp and early in the season, and the coach chewed me out for it multiple times. And so I get in the game, and he calls it. I'm like, all right, just go execute. And I did it right, and I ended up getting a sack on it. So that felt good to not only get the sack, but to just execute and to do my job and prove that you do your job and good things happen. Honestly, I wouldn't say this year, but I always wanted to sack Tom Brady. He retired right before I got in the league, and I was like, dang, But I mean, honestly, I really don't care who it is. I'm trying to get there.
Is Zach Harrison hoping for a couple more this weekend? Still to come, Falcons hoping to avoid any injuries on Sunday. If one happens, more than you might realize can be done on site at a stadium. Behind the scenes details are next.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz, on your official home for Falcons football, Fox 5 Atlanta.
Welcome back to Early Birds. The Falcons designated Troy Anderson to return from injured reserve this week so he can get back to practicing, and that's after an early season shoulder and chest injury. Now, the team hopes his injury recovery process is nearing an end. And for newly injured players, much of the medical process they go through starts before they even leave the stadium. That's the focus of this week's Emory Road to Recovery.
So at the stadium, we have lots of equipment. We have X-ray machine. We have ultrasound. We have a lot of training room kind of modalities and treatment things that we can utilize there. So a lot of sports medicine care can happen at the stadium. Obviously, if there's an injury that we feel necessitates a visit to the hospital, I'll make that assessment with our training staff and with my co-doctors who help me. And we have, Emory Healthcare, and we have Grady Memorial Hospital that we utilize to assess the athlete then and take care of the athlete. And there's doctors who are on standby at both of those locations, knowing that we're at the stadium for an event like a game, and they're ready to help us.
All right, thanks, Doc. We've got more to come on Early Birds, including a look back at a day where the entire Falcons team got out in the community. That's still to come.
It's almost game time, Falcons fans. When the Falcons sack the opposing QB at home, you'll score a BOGO free Big Zack snack meal the day after the game. Valid online only at Atlanta area stores. Early Birds has been presented to you by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you.
Wanted to take a look back now at one of the Falcons' biggest community days of the year. It was November 7th, the annual Falcons Day of Giving. We got Tyler Algier here stopping by Tequila Middle School, hanging out with our guy Landon Beckham. Landon battling cancer. Got surprised with tickets to the game against the Colts, which was a good one. And Shock, this is a day the whole team goes out and does a wide variety of projects.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I used to love these days. I haven't been with the team as far as being a player for over a decade, and we did this when I was there. So this is absolutely something that Arthur Blank loves and the community loves. And when you come up with Atlanta Falcon, this is something you will do.
It's long-standing tradition. And I'll tell you something that Arthur Blank would love even more. A win for his Falcons against the Saints. That's coming up tomorrow, DJ. Let's forget the Bucs-Panthers game. Who is somebody for the Falcons that needs a big day to hold up their end of the bargain?
That's a good call. I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts. How about that? We haven't seen big numbers from Kyle Pitts. If he goes out and has a big day, I think offensively, you go out and you win the ball game because he is a problem. So I like Kyle Pitts to have a big day.
You hear so much about slowing down the Saints tight end and Taysom Hill in that group. Maybe the Falcons tight end gets going. All right, that's it for us here on Early Birds. For DJ Shockley, I'm Justin Felder. Have a good morning and a great rest of your weekend.